So today we're going to talk about negotiation for women. I promise I won't make this very stuffy because that is me circa 2002. I had hair. That was when my mother was most proud of me. She was like, "Oh my God, darling, why don't you keep your hair?" I'm sorry. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago for those of 5 of us who are from the islands. Okay. So I went out and I applied for a job right after graduating from law school, just like any other respectable person who has 6 figures worth of debt will do. And I sent out resumes, I filled out applications, and I finally got an interview. And the first interview I got, I said yes. I didn't ask them about offers. I didn't ask them about money. I was just like, look, I'm going to be living good. And so when they came to me and they said, well, Carol, great that you took the job, and all of this really is true. All of the stuff that's in this is true. That was the number that they offered me. There's more to this. Shh, promise, it gets worse. And so I'm like excited, right? I'm like, this is good. I'm making good money. So what do you do when you get that kind of money after you spent 6 figures and have, sorry, I meant to tell you that was coming. You know, because this is, ramen noodle time in Brooklyn, New York. And so I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how do I make it. And so I call the first person who I think is going to be happy for me because I'm dancing all the way to the car with this $26,000 with my Honda Accord that's smoking and the head gasket that's broken because I don't know what $26,000 looks like because I live with my mom. So what I did is I immediately call who? My mother. And I says, Mom, guess what? I got the job that I went for. The first job I got, I went ahead and I got it. Now, also, let me tell you, my mother's a Wall Street executive. Okay. So you understand. So I told her, Mom, I'm going to get me a Park Avenue apartment. There is a Maserati with my name on it. You can't tell me anything, Mother. And I continued to say some very, inappropriate words to her because I thought I knew everything because I'm 22. And she said, and I looked at the phone and I'm like, she said, oh, really? It's the only word she had, no congratulations. And then the next thing that she said changed my entire life. She said, what did you really ask for? And I did not ask for anything. I simply took the job, was happy to have a title, simply just because I can get in, and I did not know anything about negotiating. I think that's the worst thing that you can do is not know what to ask for. And so when your mother tells you that, this becomes a fundamental principle of my life, increasing your ask. And so it's now the part of the company that I run with the Confidence Factor where I teach women how to negotiate because I don't want women to get into the same fold as I did. Because I now know that the facts will sustain this, is that we can close the equal pay gap if we simply had more women who knew the value of negotiating. It's not this ugly thing where we're begging for money. I mean, we are working, right? And we are qualified. And, it's the truth that all of these statistics state that 76% of us have not negotiated our first salary, depending on where you are. So I'm 22. I will always be 22, plus 20. But I didn't negotiate the first time. And at the age of 32, we now know that the actual equal pay gap starts at 32. So what I was at 22, at 32 it started. And by the age of 40, it's almost impossible for us to be able to catch back up. And so the gap continues to widen. We also now know that most companies do set aside lots of money for us to be able to renegotiate, but we don't ask. Less than 30% of us actually do ask. And so with that in mind, when you have women like me with 6 figures worth of student loan debt, thank God I paid it off, we now know that this is the reason why we can't pay down our debt. And it contributes to that. So we are on a mission to make sure more women go into the workplace and asking appropriately. So the thing that I teach every single day in my firm is your unique value proposition. How to get women to know how to ask without sounding aggressive, but sounding postured, because you have something unique that you offer to the marketplace that nobody else offers. The thing is, we also assume that we don't have anything to ask for, because what I did was I thought, I'm just a graduate, and I talked myself into the self-sabotage with accepting the $26,000, the broken Honda Accord, and the ramen noodles. And so I had to realize that the main thing was that my time was valuable. My expertise was valuable. I didn't just go into the marketplace as an undergrad or a graduate student. I had work experience, but I wasn't getting paid for it. And so, you don't want to stay in your mom's home and you have experience, and you know how that works, right? So the main thing that I want you all to do is actually ask. I know this sounds complicated, but that's what negotiation is. It's about asking. It's about engaging in a conversation where you have a value proposition and you ask the decision maker to consider what you're asking for. Thank you.